This is Bruce Friedman of Adult Site Broker, and welcome to Adult Site Broker Talk, where every week we interview one of the movers and shakers of the adult industry, and we discuss what's going on in our business. Plus, we give you a tip on buying and selling websites. This week we'll be talking to Anna Lee of 2049 Entertainment. Adult Site Broker is proud to announce ASB Cash, the first affiliate program for an adult website brokerage. With ASB Cash, you'll have the chance to earn as much as 20% of our broker commission, referring sellers and buyers to us at Adult Site Broker. Check our website at asbcash.com for more details. First of all, today, let's cover some of the news going on in our industry. The content creators arrested by South Carolina police over public videos that were uploaded to an adult website have released a video via Facebook tearfully apologizing for their actions. In the video, the couple, now identifying themselves as Eric and Lori Harmon, spoke directly to the camera after their second arrest last week. The Harmons had been originally arrested by local police and charged with multiple sex crimes, including obscenity, after police were tipped off about public sex videos they had allegedly shot in Myrtle Beach and other locations and uploaded to an adult site. The Horry County prosecutor, now that's not Horny County, by the way, is charging the couple with multiple charges of indecent exposure and also with participation in preparation of obscene material, part of South Carolina's rarely enforced obscenity statute, which considers all filming of sexual acts illegal. I'd like to think I was a good person, a visibly moved Lori Harmon told her Facebook audience. I was just having some fun. That's what I thought I was doing, but it was wrong. It's against the law and I should not have done that, and I'm truly sorry and I hate this because of my family or my kids having to go through this. Her husband, Eric, also charged for the videos, added that they did not want our kids to see this or even know about this, but the media has blasted us all over the world, and of course our kids found it. They are teenagers, Lori Harmon said on the verge of tears. They can see it. It hurts because they're my babies, and I love them, and they're hurting with me. At this point, Lori Harmon broke down and started sobbing. I'm here to apologize, she continued. I've learned a lesson. I'm not going to do it again. If anything, please reach out to me. I'd really like to make it right for you all because that's not how I want to live my life. I was just having fun and I got out of control. And this was a huge wake-up call. And I'm awake. I've been awake for days and days and days. But we're sorry, please, Lori Harmon concluded. The original January 16th arrest occurred after officers were tipped off to videos showing the couple performing sex acts inside a glass gondola at the Myrtle Beach Skywheel within view of the public and at a community pool in the Surfside Beach area of Horry County sometime during December 2020. The alleged indecent exposure was not witnessed or reported by anyone at the time of the incident, and the investigation by local police seems to have only consisted of reviewing the videos allegedly posted by the couple to the adult site. A spokesperson for Oregon Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley has confirmed that the new version of the CISA bill he co-sponsored last year will ensure that the rights of consensual actors in the adult industry will continue to be protected. Right now, Senator Merkley and his staff are in listening mode, Deputy Communications Director Martina McLennan said in response to questions about the new version of CISA. The Stop Internet Sexual Exploitation Act, intended to prevent the uploading of pornographic images to online platforms without the consent of the individuals in the images, was co-introduced last December by Merkley and Nebraska Republican Senator Ben Sasse, but it died without passing the committee stage before the end of the last Congress. A revised version of the bill is expected to be reintroduced during the current Congress. McLennan said that Merkley's office is currently conducting research to gather more information and feedback about how this proposed legislation could affect content creators and others online to ensure that the rights of consensual actors in this space will continue to be protected. Alana Evans, president of Adult Performers Union APAG, was one of the stakeholders who earlier this month held a meeting with Merkley's office to advocate for the free expression of rights of the adult performers who had vocally criticized the phrasing of CISA. On January 20th, APAG released a statement stating the meeting went very well, with Merkley's staff being responsive, concerned, and open to hearing our opinions about the legislation. When the meeting came to a close, the APAG statement concluded, we were offered the opportunity to stay in communication with their staff to be involved as the bill is shaped for future legislative intentions. We will maintain an open dialogue to be sure when CISA returns, it protects our workers as opposed to harming them. Pineapple Support will host Stalking Your Relationship Toolkit with Heart, that's spelled H-A-R-T, and it's a webinar about how to manage relationships as an adult content creator. The event, sponsored by Team Skeet, will be led by licensed mental health counselor Nikki Line. The webinar will focus on the innovative Harmony Aryan relationship tools, or HEART methodology, to equip attendees with the building blocks for developing healthy and meaningful relationships. Every healthy relationship is built on a foundation of knowing your partner, trust, and vulnerability, said Line. HEART will provide these building blocks for you to develop them in your relationship, as well as identifying toxic patterns that can develop over a course of a relationship. Pineapple Support founder Leah Tannett said, Nikki is an incredible kink-aware and poly-friendly counselor with extensive training and experience in her field. As relationships can be especially challenging as an adult performer, it's essential to understand and develop tools that can be used to nurture and sustain positive and healthy relationships, Tannett added. The Stalking Your Relationship Toolkit with Heart webinar will take place via Zoom this coming Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. It's scheduled to last 1 hour, but may go longer. For more information and to access the webinar link, visit pineapplesupport.org. And I'd like to add that Adult Site Broker is a proud sponsor of Pineapple Support. Now let's feature our property of the week that's for sale at Adult Site Broker. Actually, our property of the week this week is a reminder. Just a reminder that we always have some private listings available in addition to what you see on our website and in our newsletters. We have pay sites, escort sites, tube sites, and other types of sites available. In these cases, the owner of the site is usually expressing the utmost care to make sure that the identity of his or her site or company does not get out into the public domain. These are also generally larger listings with big revenues. If you're interested in finding out more about our private listings, please complete our buyer's NDA on our website to see if you qualify. Now time for this week's interview. My guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk is Anna Lee of 2049 Entertainment. Anna, thanks for being with us today on Adult Site Broker Talk.
Thank you so much for having me here, Bruce.
It's a pleasure. Now, let's tell everyone a little about Anna. She's been in the adult industry for 20 years. You don't look that old. In the early 2000s, she had a web-based cam and phone sex service. Many of you know her as the former president of Otherverse, makers of Red Light Center and the Virtual World Web. In 2015, she started Hollow Film Productions, which is the parent company of HollowGirlsVR.com. There, Anna was its president and executive producer. Hollow Girls VR won the first AVN Award for the Best VR Studio and Best VR Sex Scene in 2017. She's also received multiple nominations since then. In 2019, she launched 2049 Entertainment, Inc., a virtual reality production company that creates cutting-edge, immersive, inclusive, engaging content in live-action film, audio, and digital animation formats that's both innovative and entertaining while incorporating the latest in film and sex technology applications. Try saying that 3 times. The company is on a mission to press beyond the status quo of the typical VR production and raise the bar for everyone at the intersection of the adult industry and virtual reality. The company has already earned 2 nominations for Best VR Scene at both the 2020 XBiz and AVN Awards. Congratulations. Now, besides working on more of their own projects, 2049 is one of the top VR production studios, and they're currently in full-time production for various other studios. So, Anna, I just gave kind of a capsule about your company. Tell me what tell me. I guess we're done. No. Tell me what I left out. Tell me more about your company.
2049 Entertainment, and I call it 2049. It was actually it was birthed after I saw the movie Blade Runner 2049, and sort of the idea and the driving force behind it is I really want to create truly immersive experiences. And currently, with the technology that is available publicly and in my hands, and that I'm able to talk about, VR is sort of where we go from here. So this is where the company is right now. We're producing the highest quality VR adult films right now that we can for both myself. I'll be launching 2 sites this year, as well as for other studios.
Mm-hmm.
But 2049, as its namesake, like its namesake, is this is just the beginning for us. What I'm really focused on is creating very immersive, very intimate, like I said, reality experiences, or mixed reality, if you want to call it, or other reality. That it's going to incorporate kind of what you're seeing right now with the VR, but then as well enable other technologies so you truly feel like you're having an experience. And kind of the lines are blurred, the fourth wall is broken, and you're like, what's going on? Is this real? Is this not? So that's what the company is doing and working towards. But obviously with COVID, we're kind of just feeling it out like everybody else is and seeing what we can do. But we're doing quite well, and I'm so grateful for that. So yeah.
Now being in Canada, I'm sure that helps you production wise, because obviously you're not in the clusterfuck that's known as the United States of America, and
the
Canada.
The COVID core, as I like
yeah, exactly. And thank God, either am I in my home country, and so that has definitely given you an advantage. How much of an advantage is that, and how has that helped you?
It's an incredible advantage, just straight up. It's an incredible advantage because I have the capacity, let's say, or the offers to shoot as much as possible. The one limiting factor is we do lack the talent. Canada is not necessarily known for a place where actual production happens. Production typically happens in Los Angeles, although, a lot of the big adult companies are here. A lot of the production happens. So we are lacking in talent, but that's something that is also part and parcel with what I've been working on the last few months, is really developing the talent pool here. And really showing, and really, guiding them. I'm shooting a lot of first timers, and my job is amazing. I have a dream job, straight up.
Well, you created your own dream job.
You know what I did? It's so funny. I was like sitting on the couch the other day and looking around, and I shoot out of my house now. I edit out of my house. I completely converted my house into 2049 Entertainment studios and offices and post-production facility and everything during this year. And, I was sitting around looking around. I'm going, wow, I completely created my dream job. So I feel very fortunate. But that's
awesome.
While we don't have the same issues COVID wise, we're very, very careful. Don't get me wrong, it's still an issue. But while we don't have the extent of the issues that that my American counterparts have, I've been very fortunate that the work has come to me, which has been wonderful. And initially I thought I'd be a little bit I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but it's been going well. It's a lot of hard work.
Sure.
And like I said, we're the one thing that we are lacking is talent, and that's what I've been diligently trying to do, is build up the talent pool here, and we're doing all right. We're doing okay.
Sure. There's talent everywhere. Now, now VR is in kind of a unique position. Now, while it's been adopted a lot more widely in recent years, it's still not a huge percentage of the industry and what they do. Now, where do you see the technology now? Where do you see it going in the future? And how do you see your company being a part of it?
Well, let me back up a little bit and say this. So one of I think the limiting factors of virtual reality is, and the problem that we have with the adoption of it was a couple fold. Here we go. So the first one was definitely people having a bad first experience, just to say it very plainly. When you get those cardboard headsets like everybody was giving out in the early days, just for for fun in the swag bags.
Sure.
If that's your first experience of VR, you're like, I'd rather look at some tubes out of my phone. If you're a consumer, honestly, the barrier to getting off straight up, the barrier to getting off with a VR headset, there's a lot of hurdles you got to jump through.
Sure.
It's not easy. You want to actually sit down and enjoy a scene, and you've got to invest and plan. It's not, it's not simple. And they're cumbersome and they're heavy, and primarily they're used for family entertainment at this juncture. And, it's a little weird to be taking the kids Oculus, but these are all straight facts. So these are the limiting factors. The other problem I think is on the producer side, and I'm guilty of this myself in the early days. A lot of the VR content, especially in the beginning, was simply shot like regular content, but just with a VR camera. And I think that was a big limiting quasi killer for us. Because why shoot something that's supposed to be immersive in a non-immersive way, even though it's POV, and even though the girl's looking at the camera and all these other elements.
Sure.
Producers are often trying to flip the scenes over quickly, and I understand that. I get it. You have to balance your budget and time versus your craft, so to speak, right? You gotta so you sometimes you gotta let some things go. But I find that the biggest mistake we made as producers, and like I said, I'm including myself in this category. I'm guilty of it myself. Is not paying attention to the reason why we're doing it in VR. Why are we shooting this in VR? And what can we do to make this feel like an experience over some kind of porn that you could easily watch by logging into any site?
Yeah.
And so that's what 2049 specifically we focus on, and you'll see that in two of the sites I'm going to release later this year. Is that we're going to be focusing a little less on the sort of conventional setup, the conventional thing that you've been seeing so far, and really focus on what are the elements that we can do to make this more immersive, make this feel more real. And those are things that I was experimenting with my first release, which is Black Box. I really experimented with the quality of sound and the taking away of sort of the visual aspects, and just having the girl by herself in a black room, nothing else, one light on her. How does that feel? How intimate can we get? How much are your senses thrust towards what is happening to you versus watching a porn? And so that's something that I really, really took a lot of time with that series. I did 14 episodes like that. And I learned a lot from it. It wasn't perfect. It was far from it. It did well. It's still doing well. Thank God. I'm so grateful for that. It actually helped me during COVID.
Nice.
But I think one of the reasons it did was it was a sort of an experiment and a focus on how can we make a sensual, wonderful, pornographic experience that you can still get off to, but really, really play with the idea of your sensory experience with just a headset on. And so those are the things I really focused on. Like I said, using audio, using your site, which are the only two things that I have at my arsenal ready, unless you're going to attach yourself to a peripheral, right? Like a haptic device or something like that, But that's something that I really, really focused on, was to how can we play with that and sort of move away from the standard, everyday, run-of-the-mill porn scene. Which I love doing. I love sets. I love parodies. I love going crazy. I love scripts. I love that shit. It's not like I don't love it. But if we're going to do it in VR, we need to do it in a way that's going to lend itself to the medium.
Sure. Sure.
Like, you go to IMAX to watch an IMAX movie. You don't go to IMAX to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show, although it would look cool. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go there. You go there for an IMAX experience. And so the same thing when you're putting on a headset, like, it's cool that you could watch whatever you want on the headset. It's cool. You can watch Netflix, but that's not why I bought it. Didn't buy it for that. I bought it to be immersed. I bought it so I could feel like I'm really there and that I'm fucking this chick. And and that's, I hope I can talk like that by the podcast. Like I bought it, so that I could have that experience. And so that's something that, that I think was a great limiting factor. And I think why our sector hasn't been more successful, even though, and I've worked in the mainstream sector because of my abilities and because of the time I've spent working in VR film. Mainstream is even farther behind that. So we're like way leaps and bounds ahead of regular film when it comes to VR content.
Of course.
But
that
was our big problem.
Oh, and of course you can swear. Come on. This is an adult industry podcast. We're certainly not limited on the 4-letter words. In fact, we encourage them.
Good.
But do you still feel the technology holds you back?
Well, I mean, my mind is 20 years from now.
Right.
Like the stuff I want to do is I'm in 2049, literally. Like it's beyond. But I am looking at stuff, talking to people, because half the time I do is I'm a one-woman show honestly right now in my company. I do absolutely everything, and one of the things I do is I do have to spend time with the R&D sector, my self-created R&D sector, and that's checking out the new technologies, because what I am doing right now in the current iteration of it is not what I want to be doing forever. I don't want to be making a boy-girl VR porn GFE style like the rest of my life. I would die. It's fun right now. It's great. I'm so grateful that I have it and I have a good time, but it's not something I want to focus on. Ultimately, my ultimate goal is to create an experience that you can barely decipher between real and not. And that could be an experience doing anything. So the technology I'm looking at, the technology I'm looking at, imagine you could have your favorite star on the couch with you. And you look over and it's your body, or it could be somebody else's body if you hate yours. But I would like to see myself with somebody that is a performer or whatever, and
look over and who would you want to see yourself with?
Honestly, Keanu Reeves, and everyone knows
go.
I love Keanu Reeves. I would love to have Keanu Reeves in my house. With me, instead of me looking down and I've got this massive dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, although that's cool to try out, and if I could, I would fully have a male experience one day. Why the hell not? Try it out, right? But
there you go. Why not?
God, of course. Well, you know what? A woman is lying to you if she says that she never wasn't curious about what it'd be like.
There you go, darling. There you go. So what about the adult industry? You and I have certainly been around the block for a while. Now,
I'm so old.
No,
I'm so old.
Not old. My
I got off my age today,
darling, you're not.
I can't even remember.
Still beautiful. We've been around actually about the same period of time. I think maybe you a year or two more, but it's pretty close. Now,
right.
Where do you see this industry going? What's ahead?
That's a really good question. All right, where do I see this going? Well, when it comes in terms of content, definitely the hands are and the way everything is going, is going towards the individual content creator.
Sure.
I may be totally off on this because I don't have these statistics, but I dare take a guess that probably influencers, TikTok is a little bit more popular than certain streaming services with the younger demographic. I'm not talking about my mom and stuff. They don't know how to use the phone. But, but I'm talking about the soon to be or the current consumers that are coming up with the money.
Sure.
And these people like short, fast, self-created clips. And this is, going into OnlyFans. It's the same thing.
Right.
And so that's something for me as well as a content producer, ultimately, who does not do her own content with herself. How do I continue to stay viable? Even though my love and my focus is VR, but it's a very labor intensive process. It's not an easy, I pick like the hardest thing to do.
And it's most expensive too because of that.
Exactly. The hardest. The technology is constantly changing. I keep having to re-up my equipment every 2 minutes, and it's like a huge barrier to entry. I'm a sadist. I'm a masochist. Whatever I am. I like pain, apparently. Obviously I'm not into that crowd. I don't know what to tell myself. But yeah, so how do you say about, so I think right now the current trajectory where we are on is the one that you're sort of seeing is the younger generation is coming up with these self-produced homemade, but it's made still with an excellent quality.
Sure.
And I mean, the phones nowadays are absolutely mind-blowing.
I was going to say the cameras on iPhones are great.
They're better than a camera you could go buy from Sony. Well, not really, but very close.
Very close.
And then some of the editing apps and the Photoshop apps, I look at my skills and I'm like, okay, so I could have Photoshopped this on my phone far faster than I could have even opening the stupid file on my computer, right? It's amazing and mind-blowing, and I think honestly that's where everything is going, is people are churning out content so quickly, but it's almost like the MTV era again. And and this is where my age, when I was in college and stuff, is the advent of the music video and how quick and flashy that was and how cool that was and how it's evolved. And now I don't ever see a music video on TV anymore. It's always on YouTube, right? So
yeah,
I think that's where everything is going. I think, like I said, things like OnlyFans and stuff, especially because of the pandemic. I mean, they just gave them a huge boon,
right?
And I think it's going there. But what's going to happen after that it's a good question. Maybe we should look at history and see kind of what's, in terms of entertainment, how things went there, and
check 1919, right?
right. But also too, I mean, where are we going to go with this technology, and where are the wearables coming? And these are other things that we're looking to, well, here, let's look at it this way. I'm going to try and make a prediction right now based on some stuff. So right now everyone's locked away, and we're all kind of producing our stuff at home. So what would be the next evolution? Well, eventually they hope we would get out. We're out again. We're let out again. So maybe that's a turn and a push back to a different thing, and in terms of our industry, probably escorts are going to do really well. I don't know. I don't know.
Sure.
Strip clubs are probably going to do amazing when they can open up again.
Oh yeah. Anything live. So now lately the industry has faced some more legal challenges. No, even though they're addressing user-generated content, the long hand of the law, of course, is never far away, and all of this has certainly put a chill up on my spine, and I'm sure it's done the same to you. How much does all this concern you?
It's concerning. It's concerning. I don't think I'm as concerned yet. Although I do have my eye out, and I'm not ignorant to the fact that this is big. To be honest with you, I haven't really thought about this one very, very much. There's so much other stuff going on in the world. It's kind of, it's crazy. It's like,
as I talked to you the day after the U.S. Capitol was stormed, even though we'll be running this in some weeks.
Cosplay.
Yeah.
People in cosplay outfits. I just.
Oh, that was the head. That was one of the heads of QAnon, by the way.
Oh Lord, the world is so nuts. Like the other day I heard that was it the government or the Israel government or somebody said that aliens exist, right? And then
Israel. Israel would never say that.
Yes, or somebody said it. Some minister of defense went out and said that they exist, and here's the proof. And but then that at this point, all this stuff, and I'm not trying to sort of segue off from answering the question, but it's like.
The world's nuts. The world's nuts.
I straight up, Bruce, I don't know what to think anymore because it's like all these things keep hitting us left and right. And I'm concerned, but I'm also concerned about my health right now too. It's COVID. I don't want to get COVID, and I'm concerned about the longevity of the economy. And so I am concerned.
Yep, I get you. I get you. So,
That's a hard one to answer today.
oh, I understand. Look, this week there's a lot of questions that are hard to answer. I don't even know the questions,
Right.
quite frankly, let alone the answers. So, what you addressed a little bit of this before, but I'll let you get into a little more detail. What makes
Sure.
you unique as a director and producer?
Definitely, I think, well, number one, the way that I work with the talent. I actually went to theater and acting school. That was my primary focus for a long
Hey.
time. Yeah, and when I was a youngin, I was an actress.
Oh, I
I was an
didn't know
actress for
that.
many. You know what? The adult industry was my waitressing job. I was a professional actor for years.
Did
I
you
was
do?
on TV.
You did a?
Hmm?
Did you do? You said the adult industry was your.
Waitressing gig. So, like, when
So
you're
you
an
did some.
actor
So
and
you
you're
did
like
some adult.
stuck
You
in.
did some adult work as talent.
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no. I
okay.
was running that company. I was running the phone company.
Oh.
Um,
Okay. Got it.
yeah,
Got
no, no,
it.
no, no,
Got
no.
it.
That's what I mean. It was my waitressing gig, as
I
in I
could
went to
see.
school with all these.
I could see you as talent. You're damn pretty.
Blast. But
Yes.
I didn't want to be, because I was an actress. I was
Yeah.
an actress. I was doing movies. My first
Yeah.
film was with Sean Connery, actually.
Oh Jesus.
And yeah, exactly. So I did not want to be in an adult film.
I bet.
I was
I bet
focused
you and
on.
I bet you and LAJ have had some conversations.
I know. Actually, we haven't. I didn't know that he was
Oh
an
my
actor.
God! Why do you think they call him
Yeah.
LAJ? He was an actor for years.
Right. So we never got around to that. I
You
never
should.
got.
You need to listen to the podcast he did with me.
I will.
Okay,
I will.
and talk to him
I can
about
see
it.
it though. I can see it.
Talk to him about it. Yeah,
I
definitely.
will. But yeah, no, I was an actress for years. I was
Okay.
on TV. I was touring. I was doing a bunch of shit, commercials. So there was no way in hell I could do, and bless
Right.
some of the performers are some of my best friends, but there's no way I could actually be in an adult film. So that was
Sure.
out of the question.
Okay.
But what I did instead was I ran Courtesy Entertainment. And that was paying my bills.
Sure.
And I didn't have to be anywhere because it was remote. Like I had girls from all over the world calling in and working for me. So
pretty damn young entrepreneur, I'd say.
Look, I met a girl at a party that taught me how to do all of it.
Wow.
That is literally, I was in acting school. I was in theater school, and I went to a party and I met this woman, and she had a beautiful voice. I go, you have an amazing voice. Do you have voiceovers? And she's like, no, I'm a phone sex operator.
Nah.
No shit. I was like, I always imagined that was in like a dirty like call center, and like you're smoking and shit. Like, and she's like, no, I do it for my house. Now that because AOL had just come out, and somebody had written a program that you could route the calls, and this was in 2001, 2000. And 2000. And she said, no. And she showed me how to do all of it. And I said, you know what? I could help you with this. I can help you manage this. And she said, cool. So then we ended up partnering up. And I ended up opening up Courtesan with her. And we worked together. And I hired a lot of my friends, a lot of the actresses to work. And we were getting paid $2 to $4 US a minute. Of which I got half, the girl got the other half. That was back in the day, right? And you had to run the credit card through first.
That's when $2.04. That's when $2.04 was $2.04.
That too. There was no tokens. There was no nothing. And then as the technology got a little bit better, we introduced camming, and I only was into the camming for a short time. I was only
you would have been one of the early ones, I think.
Exactly. And then a company called Night Flirt came out. And that's when I got out of the business.
Yeah,
I looked at this thing and I was like, I can't compete with this.
No.
And so
big ad budget.
I got out of the business. Yeah, I sold it. Well, I saw the potential in it. I saw that they had it was a bigger system, and I was still half in the old school way and half in the new way. But by that time, I was heavily involved with Red Light Center by that time, so it was an easy jump. It was easy to let go of that.
Sure.
And just make the crossover. But yeah, so in the early days, the adult industry paid my bills, and I didn't have to go be a waitress like the rest of my friends. Because acting jobs are few and far between, but I did really well on both sides for a while, and then it slowly became where the adult industry started becoming more of my home, I liked being there more than I liked being in the mainstream sets. And now it's come to where this is my main job now, and has been for the last at least 13 years. And my main focus since at least 2007. And the sort of the mainstream is now I come in as a guest under my adult persona, which is hilarious. It's hilarious, and nobody remembers I was an actor. Nobody remembers about that. But going back, so what makes me unique is that, to sort of circle back here, is my ability to coach and work with the girls to get very genuine performances. And I use a lot of techniques that I used in my days of acting. I still coach. My nephews are up and coming little Disney stars, and I've been helping to coach them. So so this is the thing, is working with the performers is my number one. My second thing is I actually know every aspect in and out of the entire process, from editing to the marketing, to the affiliates, to everything. And so I'm in a very, very fortunate position of where I've had an opportunity to work in absolutely every aspect of production, inside and out, from, A to Z, and from, toe to tail and beyond. I have worked in everything, including selling, running the site, content management, coding, everything. And so because of that knowledge, I have an advantage, I think, over some of my, some of my peers, in the fact that some of them come in from just a directing standpoint, or some of them come in from just a, technical film camera standpoint. And while they may be really, really good at the focus thing they do, I'm looking at the whole picture. So when I go to shoot something, I've already seen it down the line all the way to the affiliates.
Very good.
And that's something that I think my counterparts don't necessarily have that ability to do. And I'm so grateful that I've had it, because I've had the experience in both the business side and the production, and then being a performer, not an adult one, but you know what I'm saying. And then now becoming an editor, because, well, it was COVID. I had to do something. So I learned how to edit.
Hey. We gotta stay busy. Now, what's 2049 working on now and into the rest of 2021?
All right, so I am shooting for other studios currently, and I love them. And the thing I love about working with the other studios is this: when I started out in VR, and when I started out in VR content production, one of the things that always bothered me was the competitiveness. Was people, this is my proprietary camera, and I don't want to tell you my secrets, and that always bothered me, because I'm a firm believer, and I say this all the time, that the only way that we can truly succeed in this small niche market is if we band together.
Agreed.
We work together. We pool our resources, because why would I spend $100,000 on something, you spend $100,000, and we're just competing against each other, and we don't get any further. We don't push anything further. I believe that collaboration, especially with new niche technologies, is super, super important. The sharing of information, open source, all that shit. I'm really a huge proponent of it.
Good.
And that's also a big reason why I went on my own, is because I wanted to be able to do that. And I'm very open with everybody I work with, and they all know that I'm working with each other, right? So it's the thing. So I love that. I love that it's become now, it's not oh, you work for that company, so I can't talk to you, and there's this rivalry. It's no, actually, I'm working for all of you, and we all talk to each other, and this is great. And let's keep adding to the pot, the community pot, and just keep growing the industry together. And so that's wonderful.
Well, yeah, and you're going to leave the other. You're going to any holdouts. You're just going to leave behind, quite frankly.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. But for my particular,
I could probably guess who they are, but anyway.
It's for another conversation.
Yes, it is.
Perhaps when I actually am able to see you in person. But so, but myself, but here I am shooting for everybody else, and it's the money is really where your content is. So I'm going to be turning my focus to shooting for 2 sites that I'm going to open this year, 2 very different sites.
Nice.
One is going to be very much in the style of Anna Lee, which is what people have known. Very pretty, very soft, very GFE. And another one's going to be completely opposite of that. I think it's going to surprise people. So, so that's what I'm working on, and I hope to launch both of them by summer, if not no later than the fall. Hoping to do that and
keep me posted. Definitely
100%. Trust me, everyone's gonna hear about it.
Good. Now, you're always thinking a few steps ahead, knowing you, Anna. And what would you like to make with this company in the future?
You know what I really, really want to make? Like the ultimate goal of what I would make. So, and I don't know if you saw Blade Runner 2049.
No.
The character Joy in it. She's a very, very main character. She's an holographic AI girlfriend.
Okay.
Who the main character? The whole movie is about this guy who he thinks he's a replicant. Replicants are basically like clones.
Okay.
And they have like an end date, so they only live for so long. But they look like humans. They can pass like humans. But they kind of are born as adults, and they only live for like a short period of time, and then they're used for slave functions. This guy is he's a Blade Runner, and he's actually a replicant too. So he hunts his own kind, and the whole movie is he doesn't really realize if he's human or not because the lines are so blurred in this future. And he has the only significant romantic relationship he has is with this hologram, who begins to who is extremely autonomous, and she can live, and he carries around in his pocket in this thing, and she can go anywhere with him. And she was so inspiring, her character, to me, that I thought to myself, well, how fucking cool would that be? Like, my whole family's on the East Coast, and I'm on the West Coast. And right now the East Coast is doing far worse than we are over here. And I can't go and see them, even though there's work out there for me. Like, there's people I can go out there and shoot. Toronto is in complete lockdown right now, so I'm not going over there.
Wow.
I haven't seen my family in physically in a long time.
Yeah.
How cool would it be if I could have my sister sitting at the table with me and we're eating together? You know what I mean? Like beyond just an iPad screen.
Yeah.
How cool would it be for my mom and I to visit each other or whatever? And then let's take it even further. How cool would it be to have dinner with somebody who's no longer here anymore?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's where I'm going. And the adult industry, even though my end goal is not necessarily for sex purposes, I think the path of which to get there is easily walked on via this route. Because that's what you're going to use a lot of this technology for. And we are the first to do a lot of these things, experiment with these things. So I think I'm in the right place with it.
Yeah.
But that's my end goal, is to create an experience with somebody that feels so real, like I said in the beginning. But it goes beyond of where you look across and, well, there's Chris Cornell having dinner with you, and you can ask him questions, or Prince or whoever, or your mom, And then if you want to invite Keanu over later, well, there's that too, right? So so that's kind of where I want to really go ultimately. And so my aspirations and visions are far beyond what I'm currently doing.
Sure.
But everything I am doing is working towards that. And with the film, that's why I want to focus with 2049's content that they produce for my own sites, is I want to make sure I start moving away from the traditional 2D narrative style and move towards more of the experimental sort of in it, like immersive.
Well, when you start a full scale technology company, you just make sure I can buy some stock in that girl, because it sounds good.
I got you.
Now you're obviously well connected in this industry. Who, besides Keanu Reeves, would you like to partner and collaborate with in the future?
Oh God, everybody in some capacity. Like, holy shit! I mean, there's some new guys and the old, everybody. Like, because what I'm looking at has far-reaching potential for every aspect of the industry. It's not just cam girls. Fuck everything, it has far-reaching aspects for absolutely every part of it, from your affiliates to everything. And it's like the toys, the haptic, everybody. Right now, though, currently with what I'm stuck with in terms of like, being able to work with and the limitations of the technology.
Right.
I would love to work with some of the bigger studios who have been hesitant to look towards the future. The sort of bigger budget places that I think that we could collaborate and do something really amazing.
Sure.
And with that kind of marketing power behind it, if these guys took the chance, I think we could just absolutely revolutionize the way that entertainment is consumed, just the same way that digital did it with Blu-ray. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and I get really passionate about this, is like, I wish sometimes some of the companies would take the chance and not be so afraid to try something a little risky. Because I think that if they really were thinking beyond what I said, not just doing porn like the way porn's always been done, but thinking outside the box about the implications of creating an experience and how that would feel and how that would look. That's ultimately what I'd love to do.
You're always going to have in any business, especially adult, you're going to have the big thinkers who look to the future, and then you're going to have the people who are happy with what they've got, and then you go 5 years down the road and you see where each of those groups are. And I look back and I think about each group, and I know where they are compared to where the first group is. So I hear you. Now, how about you? I know you're a real workaholic. I've
actually gotten really good at not being.
Okay.
I'm learning to balance.
Well, you got your studio in your home, which is obviously a clue right there. But when you do have spare time, what do you like to do?
It's gonna sound really funny. I like to watch movies. For real. You know what I've actually started doing straight up, and it may not sound like a hobby, other than hanging out with my dogs. My dogs are amazing.
Hey, I agree. How many?
I've got two boys, two Frenchies. They are just the best.
We have 4.
Three of them. 2 cats as well.
3 of them are rescues. So that's important here.
Yeah, same here. I work with I used to voluntarily be on the board of a rescue group back in the day when I was a workaholic.
Nice.
But honestly, I like watching movies. I like chilling. I like going for drives. I like going on road trips. I like, actually, this is going to sound harsh nerdy. One of the things I've been doing in my house is I love to decorate. Like I love to light. So I've actually lit my house like right now. It looks like I live in the dream home of what I always wanted to live in when I was a kid. So that's not necessarily a good thing, because the key word was when I was a kid. So it looks like it could either be a strip club in here or a future house, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, I've been lighting things and putting lights in strategic places.
Did you put a stripper pole?
No, but I do have poles in the corner for lighting and for filming, and it just
put one. Just put one in the middle.
You know what? I actually think I might get one, and that might be my new hobby. I might learn how to do that.
Oh God! But I was kidding, but yeah, go for it.
Hey, those girls are fit.
Yes, they are. Yes,
I'm so impressed by them.
Me too.
But what else do I do other than that? I've started meditating, and
I'm a terrible meditator. I can never stick with it, so I need it.
It's been really cool. It's changed my perspective and my outlook on a lot of shit, and I'm I'm actually starting to dig it.
Okay, you convinced me to try it again. My wife really wants me to do it, so yeah.
Oh, I pushed through. It was really hard, but I was actually straight up. I was going through a very bad breakup.
Sorry,
and it's okay. No, I'm great.
Yeah.
I was going through a very bad breakup with someone I'd been with a long time, and he was an addict, and so it was a very, very hard transition and a very hard time that I went through, and so I actually turned to it initially just to chill and to kind of not overwork and not freak out. And since I've been doing it, my quality of my life is better.
Good.
Everything seems better.
Great.
Everything seems better.
That's the idea.
Yeah, so there's that. I watch movies, I do yoga, and I cook and hang with my dogs and talk to people online a lot.
Sounds
like
awesome.
everybody else.
Sounds awesome. Well, hey, Anna, I'd really like to thank you for being our guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk, and I know we'll have a chance to talk again. My broker tip today is part 7 of what to do to make your site more valuable for when you decide to sell it later. Let's talk about some of the factors that influence the sale price of a website. Number 1 is almost always profit. It will be a multiple of the profit, and that multiple is based on whether the profit is trending up or down and how fast it's trending up or down. I've seen valuations of as much as 5 times, although that's very rare. Normally, it's in the 2.5 to 4 times area. I've also seen valuations of 1 time if the profit is taking a nosedive. If a site hasn't been monetized, then it's all about the amount and quality of the traffic. If a sale is based on traffic, it will be a multiple of what the traffic would sell for on the open market. What are the sources of traffic? Direct traffic, search engine traffic, and review traffic are the most valuable. Tube traffic, the least valuable. Is the traffic reliable and sustainable? What is the traffic history? And again, is it going up or is it going down? In a rare case, the valuation will be based upon revenue. The same factors apply to that of profit, and the valuations will, of course, be lower than those of profits. How old is the website? Is the domain a .com or something else? .com is still king. What is its Alexa rating? How many inbound links are there? How much staff does it take to run the site? How many email addresses do you have? In the case of a dating site, this is very important. Another factor can be the reverse engineering cost. How much would it cost to build a site from scratch and drive the same amount of traffic to it, and how much time would be involved? What is the lifetime value of a customer on the site? Next week, how to buy a website. And next week, we'll be talking to Florin of Traffic Manager and Tube Advertising. And that's it for this week's Adult Site Broker Talk. I'd once again like to thank my guest, Anna Lee. Talk to you again next week on Adult Site Broker Talk. I'm Bruce Friedman.